welcome to our Chard Coin and Bullion Dealer channel. Today I'm going to go through our advice guide for UK bullion investors, and I'm going to try to condense 60 years of experience into about 30 minutes, which could take some doing. Way back in 1964-65, I used to sell gold sovereigns at £4 each. And if people think, wow, that's good price, we did have quantity discounts. And if you were buying 1,000, they were £3.50 each. And we sold them more or less by the bucket load in those days. Things have changed a little bit, and no, before you ask, we haven't got any old stock. Now, a couple of other things that were different in those days. Gold sovereigns were yellow. Nowadays, some of them are red, which is probably a good subject for a whole video of its own. And there weren't any Krugerrands because they hadn't been invented. They didn't come out until 1967. And there were no Britannias, although it's not quite true. There were no bullion Britannias, so there were no gold, no silver, no platinum or palladium Britannias. Only Britannias on coins were an old penny. Yeah, this is a nice one. That's 1901 Victorian old head with Britannia on it, and that's still got mint lustre. The orangey colour is the original mint lustre. It had a few fingerprints on it, so it's probably been in circulation for a couple of days way back, and amazing, and that's even before my time. So we'll put that back carefully. That's a lovely coin, that one. So our advice guide is a concise but comprehensive piece of advice. There's a little bit of opinion in there, but it's gathered through 60 years of experience, and it will cover gold, silver, platinum and palladium. In my very strong opinion, gold should be your first choice. The main reason for that is that investment gold is exempt from VAT in the UK, and it happens also to be exempt from VAT in the EU. I know there will be silver lovers out there, people who are silver bugs, let's call it, and I actually like silver, and I think it's got good investment potential depending on the current pricing. But the sad fact is there's VAT applicable on it, like there is almost everything in life these days, on silver and on platinum and on palladium. So unless you can buy your silver VAT free, it's not going to be as good an investment as gold, and particularly investment gold. One of our enduring pieces of advice when you're investing is that you should aim to buy at the lowest possible premium within reason. And when I say premium, I'm usually thinking in percentage terms. So the lower the percentage premium you pay over the intrinsic, the better. Does size matter? Yes, size matters. Way back in 64, the only commonly available bullion coin in the UK was a gold sovereign. It wasn't until 1967 that 1 ounce gold coins came out in the form of Krugerrands, and even then they weren't commonly or easily available. Nowadays, most people think, 1 ounce. And 1 ounce is easy because you can read the gold price in ounces. To see the intrinsic value of a sovereign, you've got to either find somebody's website like ours that gives you the intrinsic value, or you've got to use a calculator or a mental arithmetic and work it out, and it's not that easy. But the sweet spots when it comes to buying gold at a low premium are 1 ounce gold coins and gold sovereigns. To give you a good example about premiums, 1 ounce gold Britannias at the moment we have available at premiums between 2.3 and 2.6% premium if you want brand new ones, but we also have pre-owned ones or secondary market ones. We've got minty ones, which are more or less perfect, and they're 1.95% at the moment. And we've also got just our choice, which aren't guaranteed to be minty, but they will still be excellent condition, and they are currently 1.25%, and those are really great deals. Apart from that, we've got gold sovereigns, and if you want to buy brand new ones, they're about 3.6% premium on a single and about 3.5% if you're buying 1,000 at a time. Our better deals on those though, we have what we call grade C, which are 1% premium, and we've also got what we call secondary market our choice. They're previously owned, a reasonable condition, they are all genuine, which is important, and they are 2.5% at the moment, and we've also got a special deal going at the moment on minty ones. So they're relatively new ones that are still near enough perfect, and they're 2.75%. I'd say the sweet spot for people is go just for secondary market hour choice. There are best values of them. I will say that they're also a lower premium than buying most quarter-ounce gold bullion coins, and historic sovereigns are very recognised. Now, a lot of people go, "Oh, I want gold bars," and sure enough, I've shown you some gold bars to start with. We'll show you a close-up of these, and we picked nice big ones out because they're easier to show you closely, and you can see the writing 1 kilo gold, 999.9. These happen to be Metalor Switzerland, a brand new one with a Metalor security seal. That's a gold bar, and they're quite competitively priced. I haven't actually looked at that premium on those at the moment, but and there's a kilo silver bar, and they're also quite popular for people who want to stack them up. You could play dominoes or Jenga with those if you had it. And you can get platinum bars and you can get palladium bars. Okay, some people like them. Make nice paperweights, but my preference and my advice would be to go for coins every time. If you want a bar because you want it on your mantelpiece so it feels good, or you want it for doing weights with, you will do some bicep curls. They're quite good. Your problem is with bars, when you come to sell them, a lot of people aren't that keen on buying bars. The market's not quite as liquid at if you like a retail level. So a private buyer would be looking at that and going, well, how do I know it's genuine? I'd have to test it. Whereas the coin has got a lot more detail on than a bar, and that's a lot more difficult to fake something like that than a bar. Also, if you've got to post it and you want to post that, let's say we post it to you and then in 10 years' time you want to post it back to us, you can't really send that by Royal Mail special delivery because you'd have to cut it into about, how many pieces? You have to cut it into about 20 pieces, which wouldn't exactly work too well. Whereas if you've got 30 odd gold coins, you can send them 5 or 6 at a time, even though you might sometimes be able to buy gold or silver bars at a lower premium than gold or silver coins. When you come to sell them, you'll almost certainly lose out and get less for them than you will for coins. Not absolute, but it's generally the case. Jumping back to size again, most coins and bars under the 1 ounce size will cost you a higher premium when you come to buy them, and the smaller you go, the higher the premium goes. If you want to buy silly sizes like 1 gram gold bars or silver ones, you'll pay a big percentage premium, and you won't necessarily get that back when you come to sell them. Now, any silver bugs watching out there are probably jumping up and down saying, what about silver? I like silver, it's going to the moon. And I like silver, it's a nice metal, it's fun to own, it makes even better paperweights than gold bars. And if you look at the gold-silver ratio and you kind of play the market in that, it's got more potential for big gains, and I suppose the counter to that, it's also got more potential for big drops in price. Gold tends to be more stable. At the moment, gold is hovering around about the 1900 mark, that's £1,900 per ounce, which is not far off its all-time high. Silver today is also about £25 an ounce, and if we work it out, the gold-silver ratio, that's how many ounces of silver you could buy for the value of the cost of an ounce of gold, that's hovering around about the 76 mark. A week ago it was over 80, 82, 85, and it's all-time high. Oh, we'll show you a graph. Well, the graph says all-time, but it's only going back about 50 years or 70 years, whatever. The all-time high was something like 128 to 1, but that was only for a few days, and that was really extreme. Before that, I'd never seen the ratio as high as, or higher than 100 to 1, and going back to the days of bunker hunt, I've never seen it lower than 13.5 to 1. Past performance isn't necessarily an indicator of where it will be in future, and there's no real should be when it comes to what a gold-silver ratio should be in future. But it's still quite a good guide, and I look at it, and 76 to 1 makes silver look cheap compared with gold. Another factor with silver is that the percentage premiums tend to be higher on silver because of the relative manufacturing costs. I don't actually know how much it costs the mint to make a 1 ounce gold Britannia, or what it costs them to make a 1 ounce silver Britannia. But if you assumed that it cost the Royal Mint, say, £5 in manufacturing costs to make a 1 ounce gold coin, and say £1 in cost to make a 1 ounce silver coin, that's 5 to 1 at the ratio of 75. That means that's about a 5 or 6% premium to start with before you even think about the VAT. If you're looking at a gold coin, where if that costs £5 to make, the percentage premium on that, the cost premium, is about something like 0.5% premium compared with about 5 or 6% premium. So you're immediately paying about 10 times the premium for silver than you are for gold, which is an argument against silver. I still like it, don't get me wrong, and under the right circumstances it's still good. And in fact, if you could buy silver back free, which is possible, in some cases it could be a better investment. And it is possible to buy it for overseas offshore storage. We use a vault in Switzerland, and if we sell silver that's based there, there's no VAT on it. Technically, because we're also LBMA members, we could, in theory, sell you silver and store it in our vaults, and there'd be no VAT payable unless or until you collected it. Having said that, there's, I believe there's a little negotiation going on at the minute between HMRC and the London Bullion Market Association about the exact situation. But I think HMRC's view on that is that that's meant for the wholesale bullion market where there's millions of ounces changing hands every few minutes, not the kind of retail market. And that might be where we're selling somebody, say, 100 ounces of silver Britannias. So we don't want to get into an argument or a fight with HMRC, but it's something that we hope to roll out in the future. Watch this space. Another point when you're talking about silver is transport and shipping costs will be relatively higher for silver because it's heavier and bulkier. So people want more money to pick it up and stick it in a van and store it and transport it. So that's a slight minus on silver. There's an affordability thing. A lot of people go, well, I can't afford to buy a 1 ounce gold coin, or I can't afford a gold sovereign. Gold sovereigns are over £400, nearly £500 currently, not £4 when they started selling them. Although way back in the 1960s, I was getting people say, well, I'm only a working lad, I can't afford to buy a gold sovereign every week. So everything's relative. So if you've only got a limited amount to spend, you might choose to buy, collect or stack silver coins, but be aware that you will be paying a higher premium for them, and you'll almost certainly be paying VAT on them. Even if you buy previously owned ones, then there's going to be some element of VAT in what you pay. So in my opinion, if that's the case, you'd be better saving up and buying one sovereign when you can afford to buy a sovereign, rather than, say, £50 or £100 on a silver coin every week, my personal opinion. But the real is also logic behind this. What I will say is, if I miss any detail out, or if there's anything you want to look at, you don't need to look at the transcript for this video. You can just go to the complimentary page on our site and read it there at your leisure, and it's got a lot of stuff on there. And it's also got links to investing in silver, investing in platinum, investing in palladium. It's got links to gold and silver ratios, gold prices, all available on our site. So I've mentioned platinum, and again, I like platinum. I think it's a very nice metal. It's silvery coloured, so it's nice and bright. It looks nice and shiny. Of course, there's only one metal that's actually golden coloured. And I don't know if you know, there's only two metals that aren't grey silver coloured. There's gold, which is yellow coloured, and there's copper, which is kind of reddish. All other metals are silvery grey. So platinum, very nice metal. It's a noble metal. It's kind of almost indestructible. There's very few chemicals that will harm it. If I put my could be fingerprints on there. We could get them off in some solvent, or we could get them off in soapy water. It isn't going to tarnish, unlike silver. So it's a nice metal, and I very much like it. There's also palladium, and this is quite funny because I'm picking up the palladium and thinking, oh, that's light, because it's a thicker coin. And I don't know the density of palladium, but it's undoubtedly lower than platinum. I must look that up and lock it into my mind. It so happens this is a coin from Tonga, and it's a half Hau, H-A-U. We'll show you on the screen. And this is 1967, and Tonga, in 1967, this was the first coin, or the first set of coins, because they made a series of 3 coins. There's a half Hau, a 1 Hau, and a quarter Hau. And I think next year or later they started doing a Paanga, which was a different denomination. And these were the world's first coins struck in palladium. It's quite historic. Okay, there we go. So platinum and palladium, I like those. They've both got their devotees. Palladium prices have been weird in recent years, but they're reasonable at the minute. Platinum is relatively cheap. It's about £830 an ounce today. And palladium is also back down to a kind of sensible price at about £800 an ounce. Both metals have been more expensive than gold for much of my memory time. So the relative bargains are, again, you've got the VAT, but if you buy them for offshore storage, then you can actually avoid having to legally avoid, of course, paying the VAT on them. Looking at my notes, my next point is storage, offshore and local LBMA storage, or storage in our own vaults. I've already mentioned this, I don't need to spend too long about it, but our storage is highly secure, and you do get an extra benefit in with it, in that it's all fully insured. And because it's so secure, the insurance costs on it are very, very low. I will say that our storage charges are much lower than most of our competitors. For gold, we typically charge 0.5% plus VAT of the value, that's per annum, of the value of your gold, whereas most of our competitors charge 1% plus VAT, so they charge double our price. Not unusual, as Tom Jones would say. And for silver and the other precious metals, we charge 0.6% per annum plus VAT, and again, most of our competitors charge at least 1% plus that. And that storage is very secure. In addition to our Zorvik storage and our storage here in our bunker in Blackpool, we also use some highly secure storage facilities by specialist bullion storage companies who are kind of world famous names, and we have storage facilities in Birmingham and in London. So I've already mentioned size, but basically I was saying that smaller sizes are uneconomical because you pay higher premiums. You might think in that case, well, larger sizes should be available at lower premiums, and that's true. You can buy kilo bars at quite low premiums, but it's not so much lower. And when you consider that we sell sovereigns from about 2.5% premium, or 1 ounce gold coins from about 1.25%. And actually we were doing Krugerrands recently as low as 0.5%. No real cost saving to be had by buying larger sizes. There are things like 1 kilo coins available in silver and gold. If you want 1 kilo gold coins, they will tend to cost a tiny touch more than a 1 kilo gold bar, and they are quite nice. They're nice to own, they're nice to feel, they're nice to touch, they're a nice kind of prestige piece. So if that means anything to you, by all means, but otherwise, don't buy larger sizes because of the cost savings. A slight exception might be 1,000-ounce silver bars, because they're the international good delivery size, but the sort of bars that you don't really want to be lugging about or carrying about or hiding under your floorboards. They're just a bit unwieldy. You'll do your back in anyway, so don't bother with those. Aesthetics for a point. Some people like the designs of some coins or some bars and will pay a bit extra for them and make a collection. Yep, if you want to do that, don't let me stop you. But do be aware, you'll almost certainly be paying higher premium and you won't necessarily get it back when you come to sell them. In fact, sometimes it may be harder to sell because people don't know what they are or people don't like the design. So if aesthetics are important to you, then go ahead. But be aware that you're being a collector or a stacker, then not an investor. And this page and this video is about investing rather than collecting. Right, there's a negative thing that I should talk about, and that's fakes. Just mentioned fakes. I've been talking for far too long. We've probably a dozen or 2 dozen different videos about fakes. We'll wrap up for now, and this is the end of part 1 of this video. Put a thumbs up if you like it, put a thumbs up if you don't. Main thing, hit subscribe and then you'll catch the second part of this video next week. I think that's all for now, folks. Thanks for listening.